All right, so I'm at the step where I'm ready to paint the head of my puppet. And so I have already planned out the colors and the way in which I want to paint it on my sketch here. So I used colored pencils to do that. And of course I understand that once you actually paint it, you might change some things here and there, and that's totally fine, but you want to have an idea going in so you don't waste paint and time doing that. So I have some tempera paints out. I have a couple of different brush sizes and a paper that I'm going to use for mixing paper. I'll probably have something maybe a little bit different for you guys to use. I personally think that it's easy to put this thing on your finger while you're painting it, so then you can kind of, paint all sides. And then if you need to rest it down on something, you can probably just set it on a piece of paper towel. But I just think it's easiest to hold it. So for my parrot, I want it to be, it's like a macaw. The majority of it is gonna be red. And after I, paint it red, I'm gonna go back over and add some other colors, some other values, some maybe shades, some tints of red to give it some more dimension so that it just doesn't look like a flat red. And you can see what I mean by looking at my banana guy. So he's yellow, but he's not just flat yellow. I added some darker yellow, some brown on the outside of his body as well, so that on his face, to make him look more interesting than just having him be flat yellow. So I'm gonna start off with the parrot and just paint the main part of the face where I want the red to be, just that flat red for the first layer. And then once that dries, then I'll add all those other details on top, okay? As you paint this layer, this initial layer, the surface, even though you typically are smoothing it out, you might have some bumpy areas, maybe you were adding texture or just some little holes in the plaster cloth. So you might have to take paint and really kind of push it in there. Don't hurt the brushes, please, when you're doing that, but you might want to you can see those little spots right there in that area, so I'm really gonna take some time, make sure I get paint there, because it really doesn't look good if, clearly that area was supposed to be red and you left all of those little holes unpainted. That would really affect the overall look of the puppet. That would in turn affect your grade, right? Because you can kind of poke the little ends of the bristles very gently into there and get the paint down in to those areas. All right, so I have just the red, the first layer done on the face. Now I'm gonna work on some other details on the face and let the red part dry before I go back and add more onto that. All right, so I have the base layer of red on the majority of the head of the parrot. I started in on some detailing on the face where I could just do a first layer of that. And now I'm gonna let it dry, and so that once it's completely dry, I can touch up any areas and then also come back and do another layer on top of the red, more textural details with different values of paint, so that it just doesn't look like a flat color. So the more the colors that you guys mix in things on your puppets, the more interesting that they're gonna look. So you can see that I mixed a tint of green for the eyes. I did pink around the eyes. I'm gonna even do some more details on there. In the beak, I did some tan, so I mixed yellow, brown, and white. And so yeah, the more colors that you guys mix, the more interesting your puppet will be compared to others.